I have to say this, before I came here for this conversation, Katrina, I was really, really apprehensive. And I'll tell you why, because 10 years ago, there's a magazine called Caravan, which is like a long-form journalism magazine. Like, they don't write anything less than 8,000 words. Okay?
Have you written an article about me?
Yes, and they asked me to profile you.
And was it, did you write a mean article?
No.
I don't know. I don't know about this.
Hear what I'm saying.
Oh God, now you sound like my husband.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
He says I don't let him finish his sentences.
Well, because I am still talking. And so what happened was, it was a great interview. I had met you a couple of times before as well. So I had enough material in that sense. And there was a lot of context making I could do with that profile. But I had no anecdotes, yeah. And I'm like, how do I fill up 8,000 words? I can't even change the word count. So I hope you're going to change that right now in terms of, so in the context setting, what I did was I spoke to a lot of people who sort of work with you for that piece. And then one of them I spoke to was Zoya Akhtar. And Zoya, because this is around 2013, right? And the movie, that anthology Bombay Talkies had come out. And you featured in that as a fairy. In that film, there's a boy who wants to dance, who wants to become Sheila, and then...
It was such a beautiful story.
It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. So I asked her, why is it that you would cast Katrina Kaif as a fairy? Because she needed something which is mythical as a story, because that's what fairies are, and something that's totally dreamlike. And she said, first, you can ask anybody, how did you make it? But it's impossible to figure how you made it, in the sense that you knew no one in India, let alone Bombay. You knew no Hindi. So there is that, right? And so she's the obvious one. That's what dreams are made of. I'm just wondering how tough it must have been for you. You were barely 17. How did you even get to India?
I didn't see anything as difficult back then. If today someone asked me to do that, no, impossible. That's why I always find it fascinating that after having seen so much, after having achieved everything, I think, in this zone that I set out to do. Of course, now I have new dreams and I may have new goals, but when I came in, I had a certain vision. After having achieved all that, I would say I have so much more fear, and I think so much more now than when I came in, when I guess it's like that expression, you have nothing to lose. Because if I had to do it now, I'd be terrified.
It's terrifying to even think about it. Like, it's like an Indian person going to Madagascar and becoming the biggest star Madagascar's ever seen.
It would be terrifying. And I think back then, I don't know what it was. I think I was just
naive, and that's a good thing sometimes.
Yeah, innocence. I think it was just naive innocence, and I remember there was an instance where I was on a South Indian film set with Venkatesh. So there would have been Maleshwari.
Maleshwari, right?
And I was doing a song, and somebody on the set was saying that, this, like, on the mic, like, this girl just can't dance. And I remember very specifically, but not feeling pained or sensitive about it, just kind of hearing it as information. Like, so I guess, like, things didn't penetrate in a way which stopped me. Does that make sense to you? Like, I have so many memories of people telling me to my face, and I can remember it as we sit here, that you will not make it, you cannot succeed, this will not work, I will never take you in a film, we will not be able to work with you. And all of this changed. The same people who said these things to me, I did work with all of them. I did do films with all of them, so had I taken that and taken it to my heart and gotten dejected and gave up, then none of this would have happened.
So what, you insulate yourself from any sort of criticism that's coming straight to your face? I think
I would sit there and I would cry.
Oh, you would just cry?
I would cry.
And then feel better right after?
No, I don't. I really believe that I process things in the most possible, healthiest way. I just didn't take them to heart. Like, I didn't take it negatively. Okay, he's saying something, maybe I'm not doing something right now. Okay, let's just try a little harder. Let's just work a little harder, become a little better, perfect your craft, be better at what you do. It will change. And I think I just went with my heart.
Like you just took it by the day, like played it by the year, like okay, next thing, instead of getting bogged down, because there is a world that you knew from outside the city, right? And you could have always given up and done other things. You were a professional model. You were doing pretty well for yourself even before you entered the films, if I'm not mistaken. I think L'Oreal already like hired you before you got your first film, right?
Yeah.
So that could have been your thing, but you were very clear it's going to be the movies.
I mean, I was very successful in the modeling industry, but my heart was here. My heart was here, and I think I don't know. It's like we said, it's very hard to explain. Even I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Today, if somebody would criticize me, it would hurt me so much more than I think it did back then. I would take it. It would probably affect me much more.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.